Gary Thompson, the sales communication professional, best-selling author and private equity investor, says, master the client conversion ladder and optimize your business success. He continues, many rising stars in business try to get from A to Z in a split second in the client conversion journey. That approach will set you up for frustration, time, money, and effort being wasted. The alphabet has 26 letters. Each letter has great significance in words formation and in human expression. The client conversion process has many steps, and when these steps are overlooked, it negatively influences your ability to attract and communicate with the ideal client. You must invest in breaking through the know, like, and trust barriers that allow you to win in business. He went on to say, the first step in your client conversion journey begins with relationships. 1. Fill the relationship gaps. 2. Leverage relationships to overcome client rejection. 3. And position your brand to stand out in the market. Gary wants you to be successful and invites you to call us today to help you master the client conversion ladder, optimize your brand recognition, and increase the cash flow of your business.
Empowering your team to be good at what they know. I love that. I love that. But I want to take you up and I want to ask Frank to come in here because, Frank is the brain behind Catalyst Leadership, which I believe is a very unique platform. He has written a book on Catalyst Leadership, and he's now building out his platform around Catalyst Leadership, what it's all about. Humphrey, you would have mentioned that you're not a leader until you're able to lead people. And I do believe that that is an essential part of leadership. But what I have found in life is that it is very difficult for people to lead people, at least successfully, towards the promised land. Let's call it that. Frank, from your experience as a catalyst leader, what do you think are those factors that are really preventing people from being able to lead others in business and in life? I would really love to have from your vantage point as you talk about catalyst leadership. I do believe that the type of leadership that we are talking about is not just leading, which we're going to call exploitative leadership. We're talking about leadership from the perspective of empowering others to achieve their dreams and their hopes and aspiration. What seems to be the fits there, the barriers there?
Thanks, Gary. And one of the first things, as you spoke about, a leader must have a vision and a strategy. If you are a successful leader and you don't have a clear vision, where are you taking the business? Where are you taking your team? Because a vision will help you to set a long-term goal. The vision will help you to, or it will provide a direction. And so when you have the vision, you will have what is considered strategic planning and the ability to anticipate and to adapt to the shifts of the market. And this is crucial, very crucial, so that you are able, with your vision and strategy, to now the leader should not set the goal, actionable roadmap for their achievements. When you do this, you're keeping the business agile and responsive to changes in the market. So for me, and there's only one aspect of leadership. You must have a vision and you must have a strategy.
Thanks for that share, Frank. I love the points that you would have made. I do believe that having a clear vision is so important. One of the things that I've written down just before Frank would have spoken on the subject is that to be a good leader, to even reach that point to be able to lead people, along with having a clear vision, you must have a strong sense of self. You should have a strong sense of self. You should have a strong sense of purpose, and you should have a strong sense of direction. And sadly, so when we do our research, we find that there are many persons, you may be very bright, but you have not been trained to be anchoring your sense of self. You have not been trained to be anchoring your sense of purpose, and you have not been trained to be anchored in your sense of direction. So that in of itself undermines your potential to be a great leader. And I'm happy to say that on this platform, in our community, we have subject matter experts like Frank can really help you to navigate in these terrains to bring you to that point where you can be a great leader onto yourself, and by extension, you can be a great leader in business and in life. I want to share a little bit, and then I'm going to come to Tina to talk to us a little bit about AI and the significant role that leadership in AI can play in helping businesses to leapfrog. Then I'll come to Kanchan, and Kanchan will share her experience also in her field. But this is what I want to say. Leadership for business success means that, particularly so when you want to start at 6, 7, and 9 figure business, it means that you have to be market oriented, you have to be market sensitive, and you have to be market responsive. Well, what exactly does that mean? To be market oriented, for us, it begins with you having a clear mental picture in terms of who is your ideal client. All right. What are their specific needs, and ensuring that you are in that position to innovate product, reach their expectations. Now, all of the above, you don't know it by speculation. You don't get to know it by guesswork. You get to know it by the data. So, an essential part of the marketing blueprint is saying to you that when you want to start and scale a business and you want to be successful, this is the type of leadership that you need to learn, apply, and master to be successful. How data driven are you? And in conclusion, what I want to say is this. Very often, when you ask the average rising star in business, who is your target market? They have a challenge with this. And sometimes they even say, everyone is my target market. And I would say that's practically impossible. It's practically impossible. So you need to refine that thought process. And the more you refine that thought process, you're going to have a more clinical understanding as to who is your ideal avatar. You will get a more clinical understanding of what are their pain points, their needs, wants, and expectations. And with the data, you would know how to better innovate products and services to help them achieve their objectives. So those are some of the blueprints that I want rising stars in business to seriously consider when you're getting into business. I want to emphasize this. The people here, they are no novice. They have years of experience. And you see Frank just tried to impose his age on us, telling us that he is the most senior person in the room. So there are people that with a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience here that are simply here to provide information and provide the support to help you achieve your objective in business, and that is the cash flow optimize. Our biggest dream is to provide you with a kind of information that's going to help you to build that 6, 7, and 9 figure brand. Atina, can we talk a little bit about leadership and the significant role that leadership plays to help businesses to be successful, looking at this from the AI standpoint?
Sure. I just like to comment really quick on the age thing. You know, some of us might look young, but like myself, I'm almost 50. I like to fool your audience with that, right? That usually throws people off. Anyway, so
Frank would say you're almost 50. Frank would say I'm 12 years older than you.
I know you're more like an uncle, right? Not necessarily grandpa. Anywho, so like continue what I was saying earlier, for the business to stay successful, to be the leader of their industry, the significant, the role they have to play. First of all, they got to know what are the statistics, like what you were saying earlier. You got to have data. So this is the actual data right now. They are for the current market trends. All around the world, there are 50% of business worldwide are actually implementing AI and exploring AI right now, currently. And then right now, people are also craving for the customized personal experience. So statistics shows right now, 77% of customers will pay higher if they get the personalized experience from you. And they will be a repeat of the customer. And the next thing is those people, those companies are actually using AI in their business, implementing right now. They grow 37% faster than those companies are not. But guess what? It's only 2% of the companies right now are implementing properly all across their workflow in their operation. So you know what? We're still in that early stage of AI implementation. I mean, right now, why there's only 50%, 50% of people are exploring, they're playing the tools. But exactly how to implement it effectively in the business, that is another next level game, like what Gary is talking about. We're here to help businesses get to that 7 and 9 figures of the income effectively, increase the productivity. Therefore, we can increase the profitability. And guess what? The human are playing the big parts of it, because without all the team members on board, you can't go anywhere. That one of the things we mentioned the last time is the value chain. So the value chain it's kind of like you can look at value chain of the team, internal team, before they can deliver their product and services to the customer. They have to start creating internal workflow that can deliver from what the customers put in the order to all the way from receiving the order to all the way delivering to the customer. That particular process, it takes a lot of different departments to communicate properly, right? So some of the people are on board with the AI, some people are probably not. So we need to figure out where everybody's at, and that also get into the communication style we're talking about earlier, right? Because we're not at the stage where AI just ultimate everything, and we don't want to, right? We're human as a very, very important part of this innovation. That is what makes us great, because we get to do what we love to do, which is what we're actually born to do, being creative, be the back-end engine of those machines. So we can actually create. Can you believe that's what we're doing all right now with Gary putting us all together? Because with all the great minds, we work together. Can you believe how this world's going to lead us to, right? That is how I see what AI is taking us, is to leading us to bigger and better, instead of we working as a little individual, try to make a whatever living or whatever, make buck or so. But we actually are here together to create something great, just like Elon Musk, right? He's already had that kind of vision, right? Want to migrate us to Mars. Some people have that kind of vision. Not everybody's going to be on the same page. I bet not everyone they're ready for that kind of vision. But this is kind of what we're seeing. For the companies are ready and they know this is coming regardless, then that's when they will start learning, not just exploring, start finding the expert to help them start implementing something small. Maybe it could be starting from, let's have a little bit of a, talk to kind of gather everybody's up to see where everybody's at, to make sure everybody's voice being heard, their concerns being heard. That is the reason why I talked a little bit about last time, the 6 human needs. That is, first, we all have 6 human needs. First is a certainty. We got to know we're safe. That is just, we're by default as a human. We got to have that certainty, right? There's a roof over our head, money in the bank, food in the fridge, right? Those are basic needs. That is what it will come down to that. The first is certainty. And once we are able to take care of that part of the level of the certainty within the company, and then people just want to know, okay, certainty means in the company is that I still have my job. Nobody gets fired. So that is the certainty that we're talking about in the corporation level. And the second part would be uncertainty. Some people are just like myself. I'm all excited about where can this go? Not like, who is this Terminator is going to terminate me, right? Right? I always joke about that just because I know, it's just like, the knife, you can use it to cook your dinner, or you can use that to hurt yourself, right? So it's all about how we use it. So that's kind of how I see the next level of the 6 human needs is uncertainty, variety. There's a people that just want to thrive for, what's new? What can we learn from this? And then the third is love and connection. People just want to know, okay, I don't want this AI system to crash my organization. So are we still going to have that human touch, human connection? Are we it's going to all work remotely? We don't ever see each other again. We don't talk to each other again. Those people they're craving for that connection with another human being. And we got to take care of that. And then some people are want to be leading by significance. Actually, that's 90% of a population, to tell you the truth. Certainty and significance. That's what people are driving for. People want to feel important. They want to be heard. So that's when we take care of that. And then the next part of this growth, people want to, a lot of CEOs, they want to grow to the next level. How can I be competitive, be the leader in my market? And that's usually when you see those entrepreneurs, they don't mind spend all their money. And that's why they got to have people and a different kind of personality kind of hold them back a little bit, so they don't just blow all the money and the money's all gone, right? But that's when they know they got to go with Gary for the private funding. So anyway, they got to be smart with the money. But the next thing is contributions. There are some people, they know, we as a human, we do know this business together is because we want to contribute. We want to contribute to the world to make this world a better place. So that's kind of how I see the leadership in this nutshell, is how do we first fulfill the human needs. So that way we can make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody is taken care of at their own right. And then when we have the same vision, we can communicate at the same level. Then of course, when we say full AI, everybody's are really driving towards that direction. And of course, that's when they become the leader of the industry and their client will get the most out of it, of the benefit of this result.
Wow, that was a lot, but I love it. I do believe that you're right. I do believe once we take the time to understand the human nature and leverage what we know to ensure that people are motivated, people are inspired, you will likely to get a more productive workforce. So I really love what you would have said. Frank, I'm going to come back to you shortly. I want to now come now to Kanchan. And when I come back, I will now talk with Frank. I will want Frank to tell us a little bit about what is the Catalyst leadership and how he sees the Catalyst leadership can really help rising stars in business to optimize their success. So I'm going to come right back to you, Frank, but I'm going to come back now to Kanchan. Kanchan, I know you've spent quite a number of years as a fashion consultant. You understand the industry. From your vantage point, how important is leadership to start and scale a successful 6, 7, or 9-figure business in the fashion consultant field?
Leadership in any business, not just mine, not just ours, it's very important, of course, because you need, I'm gonna use an example to explain this. Like, for instance, the leader in my company, technically the leader by the book, is my boss, right? So he knows the kind of people he needs to have on the hierarchy to kind of help him run things, for somebody who does the sales, for somebody who does the data entry, for example, somebody who does the logistics and whatnot. So leadership, it's technically very important in the business, because you can't handle everything by yourself as one person. So you need the help of other people. And that's when say my role, for example, over here is he got me on board because obviously I was exposed to different experiences than what his company is, because I was working with a much bigger company than the company I'm in is huge, but the one I work for is like a giant. So obviously he's taking the knowledge that I have and he wants me to apply it to his company to streamline things so that things can flow better, and we find the weaknesses of, okay, what can we do better here so that the business has a steady growth. And during the slow months, the slow sales months, for example, like the holidays coming up, how do we cover for that? Because we know we have to be able to anticipate, okay, these are going to be the good months, these are going to be the slow months. And that's where the role of leadership is very, very important. But again, as one person, he can't do it by himself. Despite him being the boss, I kind of assist him in doing it. It's because I think it's important for all of us as a team to kind of come together and contribute our thoughts and opinions there, because the sales has to contribute what he sees, what his customers are asking of him. Like, if we are to purchase something, do they tell us you hold it till March, which means it becomes money on hold for us? Is it practical? Is it not practical? Is the profit worth it for us to wait or not? Like, we have to see things from his eyes, we have to see things from my eyes, we have to see things from what's available outside. Like, is it worth for us to keep passing on deals due to time, or is it worth for us to take in and just wait? So it's the leadership here where it plays a role is, I always believe that each team member they are their own leaders for their divisions. And it's so important that even my boss, as the owner of the company, that he doesn't only see things from his eyes, he sees everybody's eyes, and we operate based on what is based on everybody's inputs, because they're all getting exposed to different things, right? Like, if my logistics is getting exposed to the fact that, oh, we're going to experience shipping delays, or because of peak season we're going to get charged $1,000 more for the shipping, is it really worth it then to force to bring it in this time? Or if it's really worth it and the sales is so good that we can cover that $1,000 extra expense. Okay, sure, bring it in. Like, I mean, so we have to know that even to calculate the profit. These things matter. Like the additional expenses matter. It's important. I mean, leadership in our industry is super important. Yes, and it's the core thing for me is that we have to be able to get creative with problem solving. So people always assume that in fashion, creativity is just about creating, like developing unique products or something like that. But no, it's also about getting creative in the manners we do problem solving, and we have to be able to find innovative ways to how do we engage customers, how do we optimize all these processes. All of that is so important, and that takes creativity in the sense of leadership. That's what I think. That's what my take on it is.
Powerful share as usual, Kanchan. You said a couple of things. You spoke about steady growth. I do believe that every rising star is a star in business. If you're not getting steady growth, you perhaps feel as though you're failing, because if you're not growing in business, you are slowly or fastly failing. And I love that you look at that. You mentioned slow growth. You also mentioned fast growth. And what you also mentioned is that in your industry, you have those predictability indicators that tells you the period of year that things may be slow and where things may be fast. And I do believe that as a leader, knowing those predictability factors is what helps you to bring out different types of leadership, because for a period where it is slow, you can innovate in new, better, smarter ways of doing things to ensure that it doesn't affect the cash flow of the organization. Just before bringing in Frank, I want to say something very quick. I do believe that part of your blueprint as a leader in business, it's important to not be a lone wolf in business. You want to have your team. And in this program today alone, we talk about network and we talk about team dynamic. And you want to ensure that you have three categories of leadership, and you want to ensure that you have delegation that is appropriately done and strategically done. One, there's what we call the strategic leadership. And strategic leadership is, where you have the top executive, the senior executive, the owners of the company, the board of directors, the investors. They're working together for a common vision. But then you also want to have your tactical team. Your tactical team are going to be interpreting things from the top, and they're going to develop in the game plan, and they will be working with the operational team to ensure that everything is implemented the way it's supposed to be implemented to achieve the business objective. So leadership is such a dynamic subject matter, and it is so relevant to the whole ecosystem of doing business. And I do believe that we need it, because in business, when you find that you are stagnant, it is because of leadership. When you see that you're growing, it is because of leadership. And so we need to ensure that we can optimize this conversation around leadership and how far you can go in business. And again, I'm excited to have someone like Frank here, because Frank has not only been studying leadership, he has not only been teaching and lecturing in leadership, but he's now developed his own thesis in leadership, which he calls the Catalyst Leader. Frank, how relevant is Catalyst leadership to advancing the success of businesses? I'm going to ask Terrell to talk to us a little bit about your field. You play a very critical role in building out social media platform for your community. And I do believe that optimizing your visibility in social media is a critical part of the business ecosystem. Because let's take, for example, YouTube. You have like 2.70 billion consumers on that platform. And you have been doing a lot of work on this platform. In your field, how important is this type of leadership? And how do you believe it can really help the business leaders to get their visibility, reach, and impact? Specifically looking at the social media platform. All to you, Terrell.
Okay, I appreciate the question. So just to give you more information, I'm in the podcast area. Yes, it's part of the social media realm, but it's also part of the visibility space. Because when I started like doing business and learning more about what I want to do, at first I said social media. Then every time I went to different places, different meetings, or not necessarily meetings, but different pitch presentations, and I say I do social media, then they start asking like, okay, do you do campaigns? Do you manage the social medias? Do you create flyers? And the first presentation that I ever gave when I was pitching my business when I first started, I had a lot of people ask me, do you do social media management? Do you create flyers? Do you manage the visibility? Do you promote? And I say yes to everything. Then recognize at the time is that you have to say no to something. It was hard for me to say no to something because I'm thinking you're supposed to say yes to everything. And so I had my mentors that were teaching about the business that was or business just in general. That was like, Terrell, you can say no to nothing. I said, what you mean? Like I'm thinking you're supposed to say yes to everything. Like they're asking things about social media and the importance of it. So I'm thinking you're supposed to say yeah. So she mentioned that if you say yes to everything, what are you good at? So I really got to struggling like, what can I actually be good at? So I start to focus on podcasting because podcasting is in the realm of social media, but it helps me be more narrow. So that way I can start saying no to certain. And so to answer your question about the visibility and the importance of leadership is that I'm learning that I have to give space for the people that I'm working with, my team members, to be creative, to think, to be a problem solver, to not only just to be in your particular space, but to think outside of things and how we can be better. Yesterday I spoke with my brother and he's been following my journey ever since I started a half a decade ago. And he sent me a message. He was like, yeah, bro, I'm proud of you and what you're doing and how you're going about doing it, like you're impacting a lot of people. And as soon as he sent that message, I literally thought about a half a decade ago when I first started podcasting and creating visibility, making a name for myself. I remember that we did a podcast episode on a GoPro, and what a GoPro is a small camera. It's extremely small. The quality even is horrible on there, but I did it. I started with what I had, and during that time, it was like you really have to figure out what you would like to do, and until you figure out what you like to do, you have to really go through the challenge. You have to go through the process, and when I recognize how much I've grown because I'm able to be more clear, I understand the power of visibility. Podcasting is the way to share your voice. Podcasting is the way to share your message. Podcasting is a way for you to connect with the right specific people because people start to hear your message, your story, and how you can help them. When I start to really pay attention to the power of podcasting and the visibility that it has, it blew my mind because it's like you mentioned with YouTube, there's over 2.7 billion users on there. That's a lot of people on there, but you don't need 2.7 billion people to watch your videos or to watch your content. You need a small fraction of people that understand what you are going through, that understand who you are as a person, that understand what your hobbies and interests are, because this is where your visibility is going to come from. And so when I really start to pay attention to podcasting and deliver my message, I was like, oh, I'm creating visibility because I'm able to make a difference. I'm able to make a change. I remember this one person who come in on a video that I produced a while back. They mentioned, they said, even if you help one person, you're helping somebody. And at the time when they said that, I'm like, that's a good point. That's a great observation. What really made sense is that when you help the right person, this is where you make the difference. When you help the right entrepreneur, this is where the difference can come from. Just like you mentioned earlier, Gary, you said that the biggest challenge when a new entrepreneur comes into business is trying to figure out who they would like to solve. When you said that, I started smiling. I was like, "Yep." When I was asked, "Who do you want to solve and what problem? Or who do you want to help and what problem you want to solve?" I was like, "I want to help everybody because everybody needs social media. Everybody needs marketing. Everybody needs to put themselves out there." Then they proceed to say, "Terrell, if you would like to serve everybody, you have to learn to serve somebody because you can't serve everybody." I said, "Wow." I got to keep learning the importance of visibility. Yes, you can have 100 different views on one particular video, but what if you have 100 different views on a particular video for a specific audience? My audience is entrepreneurs. What if I'm able to connect with 100 entrepreneurs, bring value to them, help them in a way where I know how to help them, rather than, let's just say, cooking? When I started my journey a half a decade ago, I started cooking. So if I have 100 views of people that cook and I'm no good at it, I'm wasting my time now because I'm not good at it. It's not my focus. And so what I recognize is that you have to really understand who you are speaking with. Just like the point you said earlier, Gary, if you don't know who you're talking to, you're speaking to everyone. And since you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And it taught me that visibility only comes from when you have clarity on who you're talking to, the language that they use, and the way you can solve their problem. It's all about how you are communicating to an ideal person, to your specific avatar, to your specific customer. There was a book, it just came to my mind. It was called Traffic Secret by Russell Brunson. And in the book, he gives an example of like he went to a different company and was saying like, so what do you think about this product? That was like, Sarah not gonna like that. Okay, what do you think about this language. Oh, Sarah's not going to like that. Then he was like, who is Sarah? Sarah is the avatar. Sarah is the person that we are thinking of when we think about different products, different launches, and different ways to help her. When I heard that, I said, oh, visibility only matters if you're able to get in front of the right people. So podcasting helped me get in front of the right people, and I'm able to help entrepreneurs get in front of their ideal customers so they can start helping, serving, and making a difference for their community.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC, out of New York, do more than just support our clients to pitch their businesses to investors access working capital at 0% APR. We also support our clients to grow and scale their businesses faster and cash flow optimize. Pitch Deck 101 LLC recent partnership with 10X Branding Marketing LLC and Global Capital Inc. out of the USA has enabled us to form unique partnership with multiple financial institutions, which means we can do even more to accelerate the success of our clients. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC give you the support you need to pitch to investors, access capital, access new markets, and grow and scale your business. Contact us now on 332-235-1099 for a free consultation.